All right, welcome back. The first thing I'm working on this week is trying to get all the stuff finished up to get this drywall all done downstairs. So I still have to put in the shower valve and all of this stuff here. Again, with plumbing, really with a lot of the things I'm doing in this house, there's lots of different ways to do things, but I'm going to show you the way I like to do these shower valves. So there's a couple of different things here. This is a Delta. I like to use Delta. They've been around a long time. We can get parts for them. Other brands are starting to get a good supply of parts availability. There are other good brands. I just have always used Delta. I like them. So there's two ways you can do this. They have a sweat fitting where you can put a copper pipe in here and solder that in there and make that connection that way, or you have the male pipe threads. So typically you would put a female threaded fitting on that and then continue your pipe out. The old way would be PVC pipe or copper or galvanized. Now a lot of people are using PEX, so I have to transition from this pipe thread to PEX. But the problem with pipe threads is that they're tapered, and I don't know if it shows up well on camera, but maybe you can look it up. But the threading is actually, it tapers in as you go down, and the idea is that when you put the other fitting on and you put either pipe dope or thread seal tape on here, and when you tighten this down, those threads kind of lock together, and then your pipe dope or seal tape it just kind of binds up in there and seals up your threads. The problem with that is you have to get it pretty tight. And if you use a female plastic fitting on a male metal fitting, brass or steel, you run the risk of cracking that plastic fitting before it actually gets to the point where it seals. So one of the things that my father-in-law taught me when I first started working with him many years ago is when we put these in, we use steel couplings, and obviously I would need the sealant on here, but we just thread these on all the way around, tighten them up, and then when you use a plastic fitting, so I have my male plastic PEX adapter here, and so then I can put that into the female steel fitting, and you still can break these and crack them, but the likelihood of it's not pushing apart, it's actually squeezing it in. So you can tighten that down pretty good to get a good seal without having to worry about it cracking. So and then the other thing is so this is a bathtub, obviously. So you're going to have both a bath spout and a shower. And again, steel, it's rigid. So again, on the bath valve or the bath spout, again, I like to use steel, and obviously I'm just mocking this up here, but if I can get it to start. Should have not put this all together already. But again, so there you'll have this. It'll mount here. And then I'll put another 2x4 in down there and clamp that to it. But when that's all in place, that becomes very rigid. And what I used to do is the same thing for the shower. I would run a rigid steel pipe up here and clamp it to the board up there. And that would just keep everything solid. So as you're moving the shower head around and those kind of things, you don't break anything loose. Since I've started using PEX, I use these elbows with these little ears on them that you can just screw. So I have a board running up there, but you can just screw that to it, run your PEX down, and then gives you a little more flexibility on getting your spacing where you want your shower head. And so Again, this is how I do this. There's lots of different ways. I haven't had any issues with doing it this way. And if you've got a different way or want to do it that way, that's fine. But this is the way I do it. So all the drywall is done downstairs with the exception of just the closet in the bedroom. And I brought Evan with me today to work on that. So he's in there hiding behind that piece of drywall. And as soon as he gets that finished up, I've been working on the stairway, and then we'll move upstairs and get everything all finished up there. Well, all the drywall is hung. So I'm about whooped for today, but tomorrow we start on pre-fill. And just a quick explanation on pre-fill. Most people understand taping and mudding, where you have your joints and you put a layer of joint compound on there, put a piece of tape over it. There's different methods for doing that. I'll show you some of that. But when you have areas where you have wide gaps, and this is what you would call a wide gap, but in this house, we have some wider gaps. So for that, we are going to use a quick set mud. So tomorrow I'm going to be mixing up some of that mud and getting started on filling some of these gaps in to get ready for tape and mud probably next week. All right, so here I have 6 boxes of pre-mixed mud that's already been mixed with water. You buy it, most people probably know this joint compound, you buy it that way. It comes in a couple of different kinds. The primary ones are, there's a green box, which is all-purpose, and then there's a blue box, which is lightweight, and it's just kind of whipped up and has more air in it, so it's light and fluffy, and it's a little easier to work with, but I kind of feel like you don't get as much actual product in the box because it's been whipped up. And then the bags are the quick set, and you can get that in 5-minute working time, which is really about the time you get it mixed up. it's setting up on you. Unless you just have a small crack to fill in, I would not use 5 minute. And then you can get 20 minute, 45 minute, and 90 minute. And the thing that we're going to do is I got the 45 minute that we're going to use to fill in, to do pre-fill in our larger cracks. And the biggest reason for that is that if you use the pre-mix, it takes a long time to set, and when it does, it shrinks a lot. And so the quick set mud doesn't shrink as much, and it sets up quicker. So you could actually come through here and do pre-fill with the 45 minute, and it's going to take it several hours to do the house. And then if we wanted to, we could go ahead and start taping the joints with the all-purpose over the quick set where we've pre-filled. But for today, we're probably just doing pre-fill. And if I come around in here, I'll show you. We have our trays, and I have a bucket of water and the bag, and it's almost like mixing up pancake batter. You just pour some powder in your tray, splash a little water on it, and mix it up, and get to work. Some people will mix it up in a bucket and mix up, maybe half of that bag and get to work. I like to mix up each tray individually because I'm not that quick, and it'll set up on me before I get it all used. So we'll get started here and start filling cracks. So we're getting some mud thrown on here, and this joint up here, you can see it's pretty full. There's my finger, so that's a pretty wide gap. That one I was able to pretty much get filled up, but as we come around here, that gap opened up. And so this is another advantage of using the quick set mud, is got that as much as I could without falling out of there, and then that's been there for probably an hour. So now I can probably come back and fill that gap in. I'll probably wait a little bit longer just because I've still got some stuff in the dormers and stuff to do, but we're getting it, and it's taking a little bit longer than I expected, but that's kind of the story of this house. And we'll keep going and get this upstairs done here in just a little bit. Evan's here helping me. He's got that dormer over there done and working in that little cove now. So as soon as we get this done, we'll be going downstairs, and there's not nearly as many big gaps downstairs, so hopefully it won't take as long down there. Well, my shoulder hurts, my elbow hurts, my wrist hurts. I'm tired of mud already. But I think this was the hard part, so not a big deal. But as you can see, we've got all this pre-fill work done. It's pretty rough because some of those gaps were crazy. And people have asked about these corners here. We're actually just going to do some kind of trim over that. So we're not worried about filling those right now. But we've got this upstairs is ready. I'm going to walk through the dark stairway going down, but it's all done. And then coming downstairs, we just did the big gaps, what needed to be done. So as you can see, there's some spaces in between. Those are pretty tight. I think the tape and mud will be fine on that. So anyway, this is the kitchen, and it's pretty well done. And living room, we've got most of those gaps filled. Everything that I think needed to be pre-filled. I don't know, other people may think it needs more, but for me, I think the tape and mud will get it. And some of these gaps were big enough that it's a good thing that we did this on Friday, and this is going to have time to set over the weekend and get fully dried. I do expect there to be a bit of cracking, but that's part of filling big gaps. So I'm not too worried about that. And we'll start next week, Monday. We will be starting on taping. So we're gonna get moving along here. All this time of taking forever to get this drywall cut and fit and put in and screwed on and all of that nightmare. Most of the time, I think hanging drywall is easier than taping and mudding it. In this house, I'm not so sure that's the case. This actually, I mean, we got this whole house pre-filled in one day, which again, pre-fill is not super fine, detailed work, but I don't imagine it's going to be too big of a deal to get this thing taped and mudded. I may change my mind next week, but for now, that's what I'm going with. So again, I appreciate you watching as always, and look forward to next week. I'm not sure it's going to be an exciting video because it's just going to be taping and mudding most of the week. But I don't know, maybe I can find something interesting to fit in there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.